At the beginning there is a fashion designer named Michelle. She is in a hurry, and prepares her things in a hurry. Her ex-fiancé Ben calls her and asks her to come back, but she has no desire to commit to him. They had a major argument, which prompted Michelle to leave due to her persistent pleading. While Michelle drives and listens to the radio, a power outage occurs in the town. Ben calls her once more, but before she can answer, his car is stunned by something, causing her to fall over. Michelle regains consciousness in a stark room with an injured leg attached to a wall by chains. She is determined to escape, so she uses a pole to retrieve her phone from a corner, only to discover that it has no signal. She wraps herself in a blanket and waits patiently for her captor, a tall man named Howard armed with a gun. She begs for her life, but Howard remains silent, minding his own business. Instead, Howard explains that he simply intends to ensure his survival after his departure. Michelle frees himself and tries to open the locked door. She makes a makeshift sharp tool from his crutch using a key. Resolute in his determination to break free in her room, Michelle opens a vent and sets fire to her shirt to set off the fire alarm and bring Howard back. She plans to ambush him, but is injected with a sedative and falls asleep. When she wakes up, she is still in the same room and Howard left his food. Howard admires his spirit but tells him to be grateful for finding it. Later, Michelle wakes up again, and this time the door is open. She finds a hallway with supplies and meets another person named Emmett who has an injured arm. Michelle suggests they try to escape, but Emmett thinks the outside air is dangerous. Howard comes back and says the noise was more like people spilling food. Michelle thinks that the power fluctuations are caused by a car on top of her, but Howard insists there's no one there. He shows her a window with dead ports on the outside, claiming they died because of the poisoned air. Michelle remembers the truck that caused her accident and is suspicious of Howard at the table. She worries if Howard has hurt her suspicions. While Emmett tries to chat, Michelle's mood brightens thanks to Emmett, which annoys Howard. Howard, although frustrated, politely asks Emmett to let them eat in peace while they sit. Michelle hides some keys that she took from Howard. They all hear a car above them, and Michelle grabs the opportunity to hit Howard with a bottle and climbs on the table towards the exit of the bunker. She is afraid and trembles when she tries to open the door. Suddenly a woman with injuries crashes against the door, begging Michelle to letting her in. Michelle stops unlocking the door and asks Howard if they can help the woman, but the woman starts to hurt herself, hitting her head against the door. Terrified, Michelle backs away. After that, Howard puts Michelle back in the concrete room. He admits that he caused his car accident, but says it was an accident. He knew an attack was coming. After hearing the news, Howard admits he crashed his car because he panicked while trying to get back his bunker. He says that the woman outside, Leslie, was their neighbor and that she might have known about his bunker. Howard asks Michelle to stitch up the wound he received when she hit him with the bottle. Afterwards, he talks about his ex-daughter Megan, who was taken to Chicago by her mother. Over the next few days, the three of them get used to life underground and enjoy each other's comp. One day the bunker shakes and they hear sounds, helicopters, power wavers, and Howard thinks it might be the enemy even though it's the army looking for survivors. Michelle discovers a ladder leading to a trapdoor outside. While she is alone, she finds scratches on the bottom of the scale. Michelle also finds a familiar earring on which there seems to be blood. She shows it to Emmett, who recognizes the girl in a photo as Brittany, a high school friend who disappeared 2 years ago. Michelle explains the Rayek's dead inside the room. Another photo is from Howard's book showing Brittany and Howard together, Brittany wearing the same shirt as Michelle. Emmett's plans to capture Howard and make him confess. Later that night, Emmett retrieves scissors from the kitchen and convinces Howard that Michelle may have contaminated his bathroom. As a precaution, Howard gets rid of the shower curtain, but Michelle secretly retrieves it. She uses various materials from the bunker to make a hazmat suit so that one of them can go out and ask for help. They also move a barrel from the kitchen to the room. Deared Howard explains that the acid in it can dissolve most biological materials, including humans. Howard begins to question them on his tools, threatening to dissolve them in acid in hopes of calming him down, and lying, saying he took the tools to make a weapon and Michelle had nothing to do with it. He apologizes and Howard accepts, then shoots and in the face. Michelle is afraid with Howard, who holds her in his arms, telling him that Emmett would have hurt him. He asks her to go to his room while he gets rid of Emmett's body. I didn't want Emmett to have died and whined. Michelle decides to implement a plan alone. She continues making the hazmat suit before Art calls her for dinner. Then he sees part of the suit under her mattress. Furious, he pulls her from the mattress and reveals the combination underneath. Michelle locks the door with Howard still inside. She searches Howard's room and thanks to chemical cooling, Howard stops her, but she throws the barrel of acid at him, causing him to fall gurgling in. Pain. The acid causes a fire in the living room, setting off the alarm. Michelle retrieves the hazmat suit and mask in his room. Howard staggers towards her, the half-burnt body. Michelle tries to prevent Howard, climbs over a shelf. While the fire blocks her way out of the bunker, she climbs into the air vent in the hope of escaping through the hatch in the mechanical room. Howard hears her in the air vent and starts stabbing her with a knife above the ground. Michelle looks for any sign of life, gets into the old ARD truck, but tears his suit, she the one with duct tape, and hears the birds flying above from her head. Realizing that the air may not be poisoned, she takes off her mask and nothing happens. She hears movement coming from a nearby shed, thinking it's Howard, and hides behind the truck. However, the bunker explodes and Michelle sees an alien plane. She looks for the key to the truck, then Leslie's car sets off an alarm. She hides in the hangar and finds Leslie's body and a creature outside. Michelle takes the keys, turns off the alarm, hijacking so the alien's attention. The creature hears Michelle and chases after it. They both stop when the house behind them rumbles, and the alien plane flies over, releasing gas. Michelle retrieves his mask and the salt. While another explosion occurs, the creature prepares to attack, and she enters the truck, but cannot close it. The creature grabs her mask and takes it off, but Michelle closes the truck. The alien plane lifts the truck into the air. Michelle is desperate and finds a lighter. She rolls on the ground, creating a Molotov cocktail, and throws it into the alien's mouth. When it opens, the alien explodes and the plane crashes and burns. Michelle wakes up, gets out of the truck and catches his breath. Michelle takes a moment to let the situation sink in and notices Leslie's undamaged car. She gets in and is relieved that the car still works. Michelle drives off, accidentally knocking over a mailbox with the address 10 Cloverfield. The car radio picks up a transmission ordering survivors to Baton Rouge and asking for help from those with medical and combat experience to help survivors in Houston. Michelle is at a crossroads and trying to decide which path to take. She chooses to going to Houston to help the survivors, and here is the end of the movie.